South China Morning Post, 24th of May 2023, China is reportedly discussing deals for low-quality Russian-copied armaments with Saudi Arabia and Egypt. In light of the Ukraine war and tensions with Washington, the Middle Eastern nations are trying to diversify their weapons supplies. According to a report, Cairo intends to purchase J-10C fighter jets, while Riyadh considers air defense systems and drones as part of a potential yuan-based agreement. According to reports, China is negotiating with Saudi Arabia and Egypt for significant arms sales as the two nations look to diversify their weaponry to reduce their reliance on the United States and replace Russian-made weapons with Chinese equivalents. According to Tactical Report, a Middle East-focused intelligence service based in Beirut, Saudi Arabian Military Industries, SAMI, is currently in negotiations with China North Industries Group Corporation, Norinco, a state-owned defense company, to purchase weapons ranging from air defense systems to reconnaissance drones. The Sky-Sakharov X-80 uncrewed aerial vehicle, UAV, the CR-500 vertical takeoff and landing, VTOL, UAV, the Cruise Dragon 5 and 10 loitering munitions, also known as suicide drones, and the HQ-17A short-range air defense (SHORAD) system are among the weapons involved in the potential deal, the service reported last week. The HQ-17A SHORAD is the most recent addition to the agreement, which has been in negotiations for almost a year. According to unnamed sources familiar with the matter, Tactical Report reported that talks have reached an advanced stage. China launches a potential competitor to Boeing and Airbus as its largest air show begins. The report stated that negotiations are anticipated to last until the end of this year or the start of next year. There are rumors that the entire transaction will be financed in Chinese yuan, which Saudi Arabia has a lot of extra but nowhere to spend it. The Tactical article stated in a different theme that Egypt and China were negotiating to purchase the Chengdu J-10C multi-role fighter. On the margins of the Langkawi International Maritime and Aerospace Exhibition in Malaysia this week, a delegation from the Egyptian Air Force is anticipated to meet with representatives from the Chengdu Aircraft Industry Group to continue discussions that began late last year. According to a report that cited unnamed sources, the Chinese manufacturer will present the J-10C's most recent upgrades during the meeting, including its active electronically scanned array, AESA, radar and modern electronic warfare system. Egypt is rumored to be interested in purchasing 12 of the fighter jets. Can China's oil transactions in yuan weaken the U.S. petrodollar? December 18, 2022, although the United States continues to be the world's biggest weapons exporter, observers claim that China had become a viable alternative supplier since it provided advanced weaponry at reasonable prices without any political restrictions, much like Russia, whose supplies are running out. According to Song Thongping, a former instructor for the People's Liberation Army, PLA, China is willing to sell high-tech Russian and American-copied weapons equipment to friendly nations without political terms, which I think is the main appeal to the Middle East. Saudi Arabia, which spends the most on defense worldwide, has purchased weaponry from many nations, primarily the U.S. But in light of heightened tensions with Washington following the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi in 2018 and the OPEC+ oil dispute from the previous year, Riyadh is attempting to diversify its sources of armaments. After the Zhuhai Air Show in November, according to Chinese media, Saudi Arabia purchased $4 billion worth of weapons from China, far more than their prior arms purchases. Financing the deal with the Chinese yuan could help eliminate the influence of the US dollar, preventing the US from using the currency as a tool for suppression and restriction, Song claimed. Why does Saudi Arabia seek out China to purchase cheap weapons? December 8, 2022, the 5 biggest armament exporters between 2018 and 22 were According to data from the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, the United States, Russia, France, China, and Germany. They provided 76% of the world's shipments of weaponry together. The primary recipients of the US's 40% of the world's arms exports over the 5 years were Saudi Arabia, Japan, and Australia. China exported 5.2% of the world's armaments, with Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Serbia as its major customers. Egypt came in sixth regarding its share of global weaponry imports for 2018-22 behind China, India, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Australia, and the United Arab Emirates. Egypt and neighboring Libya are now in a maritime conflict in the eastern Mediterranean. According to analysts, Egypt has primarily purchased its weapons from Russia, France, and Germany. Still, it is now considering China as the conflict in Ukraine has limited Moscow's capacity to produce military hardware for customers.